What's up guys, welcome back to another Kengan video. Today I'm counting down the top 10 fighters with the most Kengan wins. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and join the Discord to talk more about Kengan's greatness. Now, I hope you enjoy. So before I get into the top 10, I'm going to go over a honorable mention. This is Kure Irio. He could very well be number 1 or within the top 10. My personal belief, he could probably be top 5. We don't have it confirmed, or we have no idea how many wins he does. But as we know, he was the first Fang of Metsudo and was instrumental in Metsudo's rise to power, winning his first match in mere seconds and then going on to be almost undefeated. However, he was defeated once. We don't know who he was defeated by, but that defeat led him to go back to the Kure clan and then leave the fighting scene. But as we know, he was the first Fang of Metsudo and was instrumental to the rise of Metsudo's power. So with that alone, I'll have to say he'd probably be in the top 10 if we knew his Kengan record. But now onto the top 10 that we do know. At number 10, we have Himuro, who has a Kengan win record of 22 wins and 0 losses. Even though he has defeated outside of the Kengan official matches by Canada, but as a whole, he has not lost a official Kengan match. And his nickname, as we know, is the Icy Emperor. If you don't remember, Himuro is the one who got his spot, who was meant to be fighting in the Annihilation tournament, but his position was stolen by Canada prior to the tournament start when he was defeated or got his arm broken by him during a hallway bout between those two. But 22 wins is a solid record and giving him enough to take 10th spot. Onto rank 9, we have Cosmo, also known as the King of Strangles, who has 24 plus wins and 1 Kengan loss. His Kengan loss being against Tokita Oma during the Kengan Annihilation tournament. His Kengan wins could very well be higher because it hasn't been 100% confirmed what his wins, as he had 21 wins prior to the Kengan Annihilation tournament as we know. He has 2 wins during the Kengan Annihilation tournament against Adam Dudley and Akuro, and then 1 win after at the start of Omega against Johnny Walters, but during the 2-year time skip he could have had more wins that we don't know of, but as the current recorder that we do know, he is rank 9. Now on to rank 8 by someone known as Hong Xiaohu. He's also known as the man-eating tiger of Sichuan, with his record being 38 wins and 2 Kengan losses, whose 2 Kengan losses were thanks to the 5th Fang Metsudo, Kano Agito, and Ray during a flashback sequence that we got in the Kengan Ashura manga called Extra Heroine. So if you want to check that out, make sure to check out that extra. He was lined up to face Ray and he was defeated quite fast, as Ray took him out quite easy with his abilities, and he also had a match against Kano Agito, as I just mentioned, during the past where he lost as well. So he's pretty unknown. He is mentioned in Omega as a possible candidate for Tomari to put forward for the Kengan vs Purgatory tournament, but instead he went for Julius, or she went for Julius after got Mutaba to find him on that. So pretty strong, pretty unknown. We haven't seen him in the anime whatsoever, and he's only really shown in the extra chapters, but 38 wins is solid. At rank 7, we have Hatsumi Sen, also known as the Floating Cloud, with 41 Kengan wins and Kengan losses being 16. As we know, Himuro is a top competitor when he's at his peak condition. He can take out and can be considered Fang level, as he was a Fang candidate at one point, but he refused to become a Fang. So at his peak he could be considered mid Fang level, even though I don't consider him high Fang, but mid Fang tier at his peak. But when he's not at his peak, when he's just messing around, he can be defeated by any random jobber, and that's what led to his 16 losses. But still, 41 wins, taking out the likes of taking out the likes of Bando, Chiba, and in the past Wakasuki in flashbacks as well. So there you go, Hatsumi Sen, a solid fighter with 41 Kengan wins. At number 6, we have Akuro, also known as the Executioner, with at least 42 Kengan wins and 1 Kengan loss. His 1 Kengan loss, as you know, was against Cosmo in the Annihilation tournament. His Kengan wins prior to Mega or in the Kengan Annihilation tournament was 39 when it started, and then he got 1 win in the tournament against Kano, and then 1 win 6 months prior to Omega, and then a win against Gayo Ryuki. He could have a couple more wins during the 2-year time skip that we don't know, but when he gets his fight, most likely in Purgatory, we'll be aware of his official account, but currently it's sitting at 42 Kengan wins, which is a pretty respectable number, putting his justice out to 42 people. Solid fighter for Akuro. Now on to rank 5, which we have is Machinchi Robinson, also known as the Exterminating Vigor, with a total of 48 Kengan wins in 2 Kengan losses. His 2 Kengan losses from Kure Ray during the Annihilation tournament, and then recently in the Mega at Chapter 44 against Ryuto with the return of Ryuto's greatness. I consider him a pretty underrated character. I'm working on a video in a couple of days of the most underrated Kengan fighters, so stay tuned for that as well. And as we know, he's going to be in there for his Chadness. But 48 wins, a solid record, a top 5 most wins fighter in the whole series, and only taking 2 losses against the likes of Kuro Rayan, a top 5 fighter in my opinion, and recently Rito, who was trained by the almighty Beard. So hype for our boy Robinson. Now on to number 4. We have Julius Reinhold, also known as the Monster, with a total of 52 Kengan wins and 1 Kengan loss against Wakatsuki during the Annihilation Tournament. And based on what he looks like now, he's going to beat some ass in the Purgatory Tournament, which he's even bigger than what he was. 52 Kengan wins, absolutely monster, took out 50 people, probably with ease as well. I can't really think of many people, except for Wakatsuki, be able to defeat a big, muscly, steroided up monster like Julius. It'd be quite hard. He probably effortlessly took out people, as shown in the Annihilation Tournament, where he took out Silewide with like absolute ease with his big monster status. And I don't think he was fighting very much over the 2-year time scale or did any Kengan matches. So all these 52 wins are prior to the Kengan Annihilation Tournament, and probably now being even stronger than what he was, with him being clearly bigger. This shows how much of a monster and beast he is in Kengan. At rank 3 with the most Kengan wins, we have Sega Bahashi, also known as Hell's Angel, with a total Kengan wins of 58 Kengan wins and 2 Kengan losses. So he's 2 Kengan losses going against Mutaba, where he was defeated by Mutaba, and prior to the Kengan Annihilation Tournament, where he was knocked out by Takita Oma in one of Takita Oma's pretty much entry fights to try and get part of the Kengan Annihilation Tournament. And there is Sega Bahashi, one of the beasts, one of my personal favourite characters and a great personality on screen. Always Kengan fights are great. And he was defeated by Mutaba, but even though prior to that he's an absolute Chad and a veteran in Kengan with a solid 58 wins. He's one of the older characters as well, with his age being currently in Omega being 40. At number 2, we have Kano Agito, the 5th Fang of Metsudo, with a total Kengan wins of a big upgrade from there, 160 Kengan wins, and Kengan losses being 1, where he was defeated in the semi-finals by Kuroki Gensai, the almighty Chad Beard Boy. You just gotta respect Kano Agito. Being a Fang of Metsudo, probably had the most or second most wins if the Kuro Clan member had more wins when he was the Fang. But out of all the Fangs thus far, I think he probably has the most Kengan wins under his belt, which is solid. I consider him one of the strongest Fangs, being a high tier Fang, with him during the Annihilation Tournament, which is even on his record, taking out a previous Fang to hold on to his spot as fighting in the tournament, which is just absolutely insane. Him taking out the likes of Okubo, Gao Lang, and Hatsumi said during the tournament, and then in the parts taking out Wakatsuki, Hatsumi, and there's many other fighters as well. Just insane Chad. And all that's prior to the Kengan Annihilation Tournament. As we know, he went into exile or pretty much left Metsudo, or dropped his position down as Fang of Metsudo and went to America over the last 2 years. So he hasn't been fighting. So all that 160 wins prior to pretty much the Annihilation Tournament was just insane, and shows how much of a Chad and top fighter Kano Agito really is. Now on to number 1, the fighter with the most Kengan wins, the pretty much king of the Kengan fights with the most wins, Wakatsuki, also known as the Wild Tiger, with a total of 309 Kengan wins and 3 Kengan losses. His losses being 2 prior losses to the Kengan Annihilation Tournament, one being Kano Agito, another one being Hatsumi Sen, and then 1 loss in the semi-final thanks to Takita Oma during the Kengan Annihilation Tournament. And then all his other wins, this 309 win, which is absolutely insane. During the Annihilation Tournament, he took out the likes of Gozo, Julius, and Mutaba, which is absolutely insane. So Wakatsuki, the king of Kengan with the most Kengan wins, is 309. That's like a huge step. That's more than, I believe, everyone else prior to this all combined up into one against this Wakatsuki. If my maths is right, didn't do the maths, but that's my prediction. Is 309 wins. Absolute Chad. We got those panels showing he took out like all these masters of Wakatsuki, this brute force, chatting his way through. Like, Jesus, bro. I can't wait to see his fight against Purgatory and see what he's truly capable of and how much he's developed even more over the last 2 years. His age is one of the oldest in Kengan, being 42, even though he doesn't even look that with his like absolute Chad stature. But here we go, we have the list of the top 10 known Kengan wins that we have. So there we go. If Beard was more involved with the Kengan thing, he could have maybe top 10, but as we know, he only got all the wins during the Kengan Annihilation Tournament, which is pretty respectable, picking out top tier fighters just in that. As also good to mention, there could be some other fighters that could break this top 10 list, such as the ancestor of Yamashita, who had the pretty much Ultra Instinct Eyes thing, who was mentioned by Nogu, who was helping him and died during the Kengan tournaments. He could have had a lot of wins as well, but we aren't aware of how many wins he had as well, so he could very well be in the top 10 as well. But from the known Kengan fighters that we currently know their record for, or know at least their minimum record, this is the top 10. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe, and if you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord to talk more about Kengan's greatness. That's it, guys. Peace.